Last one's a clean and jerk. The other people would do a speed squat, so that's a little bit lighter load, maybe 50%. Down normal, up as fast as you can. So almost like a box or a squat jump, but not leaving the ground, a little bit heavier load. Strength training, maximal strength. Again, you cut the reps down again, add a little bit longer rest, get a little higher quality movement. Intro some cluster sets, which I don't know if you guys use those. Allows you to lift a little bit more weight for a little bit higher reps. You do, like this example, 2 plus 2 plus 2, you do 2 reps, fairly heavy on your squat, give yourself about 30 seconds recovery, do another 2 sets. You want the sets to be completed within a minute, so however much recovery you can do 2 plus 2, give yourself a little bit longer recovery, 2 plus 2 plus 2, give yourself a little bit less recovery, but hit some higher weights for some higher volume. Should be designed pretty similar to the last one. Triple extension movements first, paired with a reactive strength, so some elastic strength, some plyometrics. Maybe you do a med ball throw, but instead of just throwing it, this time someone throws it to you and you try and get it back as fast as you can. Try and load and unload as quick as you can. Training sessions, few exercises that emphasize multi-joint, maximal effort movements that are more sport specific, greater intensity and decreases in volume, but you want to cut the workout down a little bit, 35 to 45 minutes. Not quite as long. You're hitting a little bit higher intensity. You're hitting a lot fewer exercises. Bring some of that core stuff out to the track again. Get it out of the weight room. There it is. I'll say this. This girl is actually a shot putter for us, if you can believe that. And she just last night PR'd by over a meter lifetime, so I'm pretty pumped. And I put her in the video for that reason. She's cleaning 133 pounds there. Looks pretty simple for her. She actually was a multi-eventer for us last year who ended up having to have microfracture surgery in her knee, so she can't do the multi anymore, but she is now 6th in our conference in the shot put, never having thrown over 35 feet before. She threw over 40 last night. So she's a pretty hard-working kid and has hit the weight room pretty hard. And can't squat, but is able to catch a power clean without any pressure on her knee. So here's an example. We use some cluster stuff, so 3 times 2 plus 2 plus 2. Squats, we go 5, 4, 3, 2, so you're adding load, decreasing reps, giving yourself some pretty long recoveries here. A rack squat, it's a little bit of a dangerous lift unless really supervised. Basically, you want to load up your max on squats and do multiple reps, but you're only going down to where your elbows are. A little bit more sport specific, a little bit higher intensity, but much lower volume. Next day, snatch, accelerated band jumps, so there's another plyometric. Accelerated band jumps are kind of a fun exercise. I throw them in there, 1, because they're good, and 2, because athletes like them. You tie bands either to the ceiling or the top of the rack, hold on to them and just jump as high as you can, try and get off the ground as quick as you can. Makes you move a little faster, makes you a little more explosive, and makes you feel like you're flying. Again, dynamic step-ups is in there. If you notice, we're cutting down the total number of auxiliary lifts, and if we are doing them, there's 1 set here, 2 sets, 1 set, plank. So you're cutting down the total number of exercises. This was the thrower workout for next week. Next week of last year. So pretty good example. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. In a high school season, you might want to cut it down just to 2 days, but even 2 days a week is going to get you some pretty good results. Maximal dynamic strength taper. So now you're eliminating all your auxiliary lifts. This is when you're trying to get to conference, to sections, that kind of stuff. You want to get your best results. Very low reps, full recovery, 3 to 5 minutes. Not very many sets, 35 minutes max on your lift. Eliminating all auxiliary lifts, but really trying to hit some heavy weights. This set was actually done not during this cycle, but it's a good example of how it should look. If I can get it to come up. This is a guy, this was actually done, I think in October, but it's a good example of what a set of cleans. This was at the end of a set of 6, but it's the last 3 reps. So it's pretty heavy weight. First one's real good. Second one he has to drop a little lower. It's going to take a big pull, and the third one he actually misses. We cut him off after this. You miss a lift, obviously you've done enough. You want to hit pretty maximal effort lifts, hit them pretty hard, but then give yourself time to recover, allow yourself some recovery methods outside of just that. So here's an example. This was actually what we did the week of nationals last year when our girls ran that. Well, this was right at nationals. So this is what they did at Baldwin Wallace University in Rio, Ohio. Monday or Tuesday, we changed from Monday to Tuesday because they ran Friday, Saturday, so we wanted to give them a little bit of time to recover, but still hit it pretty good right before the meet. So you're doing 2 exercises the day before the meet. Well, 4 exercises, but 2 sets. They're paired together. Very low reps. 8 reps there, and 4 reps of bench paired with some auxiliary or some dynamic stuff. Not a lot of reps, but it's pretty high intensity, pretty long recovery periods, pretty dynamic movements. But again, its total volume is grossly decreased. Again, that's kind of how I would set up a high school season. I emphasize you need to look at your meet schedule. You need to plan this out as detailed as you possibly can before the season starts. Be willing to make changes, but try and have a plan so you know what's coming, so you know when you want to compete well, when you want to do that kind of stuff. No substitute for supervision. If you don't know what you're doing, get somebody who does, or learn how to. I don't have any videos or anything, but you can find them. YouTube's a great website to learn how to teach a power clean. Anything like that can be found on YouTube or the internet somewhere, or you can buy a video and watch it with your athletes. Adding strength training will only help if volume is sacrificed elsewhere. You got to balance your weight training with your track training or your training in the circle. Technique, technique, technique. You can't. A good power clean helps. A bad power clean hurts. So you got to teach proper movements. Correct movements equal efficient movements. A power clean done correctly, even with lightweight, will help you change your movements on the track. If you can teach somebody how to power clean, you can probably teach them how to run, because it's a little bit more complex than running straight ahead or turning left. Variation is the key. Gains in strength help every event group, and increases in loading require emphasis on recovery methods. Again, I say chocolate milk because it's cheap, it's readily available. Most kids like it, as long as they're not lactose intolerant or allergic to anything in there. But it's a great balance of protein, vitamin D, calcium, potassium, and it's 90% water. So they're still getting water, and they're getting everything else that they need. There's a little bit of, usually some milk fat in there, which isn't a bad thing. It's a good quality fat. Sleep, obviously very important. That's the struggle that I have as a college coach, is making my athletes realize that sleep is important. It is extremely important. I think we all know that as coaches, and as you guys as parents, maybe. I'm a ways off from that one still. But and then nutrition in general, teaching your kids that beer is not substitute for water. Milk is good, that kind of stuff. You know, not all fluids are the same, not all food is the same. Pizza Hut and making a homemade pizza are a little bit different quality ingredients. Some lunch meat isn't all that good. Fresh chicken's good.
Question on the lifts. How about the squat clean versus power clean? Benefits, stay away from that. As far as track helping?
You know, they're probably pretty similar benefits. It's what you're comfortable with. Again, I teach fairly similar to what I was taught, and I've done some research, and I like to read this kind of stuff. But you got to be comfortable with what you teach. So I think if you're comfortable teaching that, it does have some benefits. Total force production is pretty good in both lifts, and that's kind of what you're going for in the weight room, is trying to produce as much force as possible, as efficiently as possible. Is it as efficient? Maybe. You're combining a couple exercises. Maybe it's a little more efficient. Maybe it cuts off a little time. But we do vary some hang cleans and some full cleans and some power cleans. I mean, there's a little bit of variation within our workout, but I have a tendency to stick to lifts that people have heard of, lifts that people know. I've messed around a little bit, and I just keep coming back to the same stuff that we've done. I do in the summer have a tendency to change up a little bit. Like this summer, I took some of Minnetonka's stuff, and we did a 3-week cycle of HIIT training. So 1 set, slow reps, maximal effort, getting to failure on every exercise that you do. I think training variety, it serves a purpose everywhere. HIIT training is not track training, I'll say that. I referenced an article at the end of this that explains it much better than I do, but I would say you need to get dynamic in your movements. Moving slow is not going to help. It may make you stronger, but it's also not always beneficial. So that's pretty much all I have. I left some time for questions, I think. Not sure exactly. Nope, I didn't. But if anybody has any questions, I can stay after. I appreciate you guys coming. This was my first ever public speaking engagement, so I'm sorry if I said too much or anything like that. Here are some references